Your AccuWeather.com forecast, partly sunny with a high of 88 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 72 tonight. Afternoon storms in the area tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast.
Good morning. It is 3 past 6 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Miss Erin, somebody actually said, could you show us the gopher-shaped table on our video feed? Erin, local news in just a second or two.
Back to the books today for some students. In Caddo schools, there'll be a lot of new faces. And we have tragedy in the body of a 7-year-old is found. We'll have more on that.
Why was I giddy all day yesterday around the radio station and beyond? People saying, why are you acting so? I said the word is starstruck, and I will tell you why. Plus, sports. Matt's got that. Traffic and weather. It's all this hour, and it's right here on Keel. This part of the show powered by Avalone Door and Ironworks, raising garage door standards.
The Keel Morning Report, now on 1017 FM and 710 Keel.
It's back to school today in DeSoto Parish. Buses will be rolling and deputies will keep a close eye on the school zones. Caddo students return on August 14th. And when they do, expect a lot of fresh faces. Matt Parker explains.
Caddo school officials have announced that 250 new teachers will be in the parish for the 2017-2018 school year. The new hires will attend a 5-day orientation that will give them a full overview of the curriculum. They will also learn how to integrate technology into the classroom and be assigned a coach that will mentor them through their first year. From 1017 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
The Caddo coroner has confirmed that a body missing in Brushy Bayou is that of missing 7-year-old Deshaun Combest. Shreveport Mayor Ollie Tyler says the boy's body was discovered by railroad crews working on Mansfield Road. The child was swept away in a rain-swollen ditch Tuesday evening. If you'd like to help the family during their time of need, you can make a donation at GoFundMe or at the Professional Firefighters Credit Union on Healthplex Drive. The Caddo Commission says no to a plan to disband the Citizens Advisory Committee, which has been working on a plan for the Confederate monument in front of the courthouse. Caddo Commissioner John Atkins wants to give the panel more time.
We have charged a group of citizens with a task, and they've worked diligently to pursue that task. And I think it's unfair to, at this last moment, take the rug out from under them before they have a chance to complete their work.
The advisory committee has another meeting set for next week. Elio Motors says there will be more delays before they can start producing and delivering cars. In the latest filing with the SEC, the startup company says it will be 2019 before they can deliver cars to customers, and that there may be a design flaw that will have to be repaired after delivery of the vehicle. The company also states they plan to go public and list the shares on the stock market in an attempt to raise over $100 million. A homeless couple locked up after their dog bit a Shreveport police officer. The officer stopped a vehicle on the Clyde-Fant Parkway near Lake Street. Now, while the officer was conducting that stop, a homeless couple began interfering with the officer. That's when the officer attempted to get the couple to leave, but they wouldn't. The officer called in backup. While they were arresting the couple, their dog bit an officer on the leg. The pair's been charged with interfering with an officer of the law. Today and tomorrow, you'll be able to buy school supplies and other items at a reduced state sales tax rate of 3% compared to the normal 5%. National Federation of Business State Director Dawn Starnes says she hopes small businesses will see an increase in business, but it was more beneficial for retailers when the law allowed for a tax-free weekend.
Retailers have looked forward to it in the past because it was a little bit easier to implement and easier for consumers to understand. And the fact is now it's not a sales tax holiday, it's a discount.
The teenager who used a series of text messages to urge her suicidal boyfriend to kill himself has been sentenced. Michelle Carter gets 15 months in jail for involuntary manslaughter. Crawfish have been found in Michigan, and that state's Department of Natural Resources is not happy. They say the red swamp crayfish damage earthen structures and compete aggressively for food and habitat, disrupting the food chain. LSU Ag Center aquaculture specialist Greg Lutz says while crawfish are well adapted to our geography,
their burrowing habits have caused them to be considered a plague in other parts of the world where they've been introduced.
Michigan wants them out. Partly cloudy today, high about 93 degrees, right now 77. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning. It's 9 past 6, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic.
It is once again the best time of day to get from A to B because everything is all clear for your early morning drive to work. But look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on North Market near North Hearn Avenue. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. Tomorrow, a shower or thunderstorm around, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
Good morning. It's 11 past 6 o'clock. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. It's 1017 FM. And 710 KEEL. You can listen online. The KEEL app is a free download, and it sounds awesome. And speaking of sounding awesome, what did they do to the FM signal?
Man.
Did they put like a boost on it? Did they give it, move it higher up? Are we broadcasting our FM signal via satellite these days?
I think Batman fixed it.
It sounds amazing.
It is amazing.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL, and you can download the KEEL app, and that's presented by Office Furniture Source.
Mm-hmm.
So, yesterday in the 8 o'clock hour, if you were not here, you missed one of the most fun hours in a long time.
Our buddy, he's so
and
cool.
we had James Burton in.
Mm-hmm.
And
if you don't know who James Burton is,
Google James Burton.
I said it in our meeting the other day with some of these idiot millennials. They're like, "Who's that?" I said, "Y'all, exciting day. James Burton's gonna be in the studio." Who's that? James Burton was Elvis's guitar player. He played for John Denver, Ricky Nelson. He played with so many stars.
It would be easier to mention the people with whom he did not play.
Yeah. And he's a local guy.
And yeah, born in Dubberley. He's lived here for years and continues to.
Amazing man.
What was the best part? Let's start with Parky. What was the best part of the interview? You know what I found yesterday? Answer in a second. I just Googled, searched James Burton on YouTube, and his Hall of Fame induction, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction introduction by Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones.
Wow.
And it's just what he says about him. He says there's players and there's players. If you look on YouTube for James Burton, not only does it have videos of him playing with just about everybody you could ever want to play with,
it's amazing,
or everybody who's ever been somebody in music in the last half century or more, but there's actual instructional videos of other guitar instructors teaching you how to play James Burton licks, how to play like James Burton, how you can sound when you play like James Burton. Tell me, what did you like the most?
Oh, God, I just loved all the stories. I don't even know what was on the air and what wasn't, but it was just, he walked in the door and story time started, and it was awesome, just soaking it all in.
For me, it was when you were going to put together Elvis's band. Who called you to give you that gig?
Wait, stop a second. We have that. We have the question, we have his answer, and basically this is...
It's stunning.
James Burton, the first time I talked to Elvis.
The first time you met Elvis, tell us about what you remember. How old were you? How old was he? What was the circumstance?
Well, I met Elvis actually in '69 when I put a band together for him. I never got a chance to meet him at the Louisiana Hayride because I worked with Bob Luman when we played the same music. Horace Logan, the manager, wouldn't let us perform.
So pardon me, one day the phone rings and it's Elvis or Elvis's people and say, "You're in charge of getting me a band."
Elvis called and said, James, I watched you on the Oz and Harry show. You and Ricky perform a song. And of course, him and Ricky were friends, and they played softball, football together and everything. But I didn't meet Elvis until 1969. But when I talked to him on the phone, it was like we'd known each other our whole lives.
Was it like that musically, too?
Well, yeah. I mean, he was...
I would imagine through the years there's guys that you meld, that you mesh with immediately, and there's guys that your styles or personalities, you go, well, I'll play with him one time. I would assume Elvis was the one that there was immediate simpatico, right?
Well, he kind of put it like, he followed my career, and it's like he's the king of rock and roll. I mean, he's watching me on TV, King of rock and roll. I mean, how cool is that?
Sure.
And but I was late for work that day. I had recording sessions all day, and I was like an hour late getting to
my
first session.
What kind of pressure is there when Elvis is on the phone and says, "I want you to put a band together for me"? Did you think, I got to get really, really good guys?
Well, the story was, I turned Elvis down because I was working with Frank Sinatra on doing an album with Jimmy Boy and produced. And then the word got out, well, I turned Elvis down because I was working with Frank Sinatra. That's not true, but I couldn't do the comeback special in '68 because I was doing an album with Frank.
Sorry, E, I can't make it. I'm working with Blue Eyes.
What's the biggest something unknown about Elvis that would surprise people that you knew about him as a man? You know, you knew him in his heyday and beyond.
I don't really know of anything that I could talk about except when I met him. I will say he was one of the finest people I've ever met, and not from a star point, but he was a great guy. He was just really super.
So, James Burton yesterday in studio. Mm-hmm. And we were leaving, and I was showing him out the front door. That sounded weird. Gotta go, James.
Yeah, get out of here.
And we were standing in the lobby, and he was just talking. And on one hand, we know him pretty well. And so I'm talking to my friend James. But on the other hand, all I can think is, good Lord, I'm sitting here just BSing with James Burton.
I know.
And he's talking about like this was the amazing thing. And I was explaining to people. And, well, here's a perfect example. He was talking yesterday when I said off the air, because I didn't know, sometimes we ask questions on or off the air. And to see how folks will respond. And I said, do you ever still get nervous? And he said, not nervous, but always a little keyed up, always a little energetic. Mm-hmm. And then he launches into this story about Elvis.
Getting nervous, yeah.
And it was before Elvis, it was before his comeback TV special. You know, the one where it's kind of in the round, and he's wearing the black sort of leather jumpsuit. Mm-hmm. And he said, we're about 10 minutes from going on stage. And Elvis comes up to me, puts his hand on my shoulder and says, James, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can go on. And Mr. James says, I said, Elvis, it's going to be okay. He's talking to Elvis.
Yeah, I know. He's calming Elvis down.
He says, Elvis, it's going to be okay. Just go out and pretend it's like we're playing with our buddies in the Jungle Room. And I'm thinking, he tosses around Elvis and Jungle Room the way I toss around my brother Bill and Outback.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
like we're hanging out at Outback, or we're hanging out at the Jungle Room.
And he doesn't do it in this, here's where I've been, here's how
highfalutin I am.
These are the people, that's his world, that's his life. Mm-hmm. Elvis is just a guy. It's a guy I worked with. He was awesome, but I just hung out with Elvis.
Yeah.
I hung out with fill in the blank. You go to YouTube, he's playing with Roger Daltrey. There's like we said at the beginning of the segment. See, I'm getting worked up because it's so exciting, and I am starstruck by him.
Yeah.
It's easier to name the people with whom he has not played than literally the ones he has.
Yeah.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel, 19 past 6 o'clock. Kate Brumley going to be here in a second?
He is, absolutely.
Okay, that's up next. Here's Ruben.
I-49 South's got it clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 eastbound near North Market due to construction. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. A shower or thunderstorm around tomorrow, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
Bluebird Broadband is now
Good morning at 622, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL Sports.
With no stars and few starters on the field Thursday night, the Cowboys were able to beat the Arizona Cardinals 20-18. Cowboys coach Jason Garrett said the main goal was to get their young players a lot of action. With the win in the bag, the Cowboys now head to Cleveland for owner Jerry Jones's induction into the Football Hall of Fame. One of track and field's greatest sprinters is expected to run his last individual race Saturday in London. Jamaican Usain Bolt says he will retire after dominating his sport for a decade. Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth shot 3 under 67s that leave them 2 shots behind leader Thomas Pieters through one round of the PGA's Bridgestone Invitational at Akron, Ohio. McIlroy is playing for the first time since parting ways with caddy J.P. Fitzgerald and replacing him with Harry Diamond, his best friend. Pieters birdied his final hole for a 65 and a one-shot lead over Russell Knox. The Texas Rangers are starting to turn things around and win again. Last night, behind the power of Joey Gallo's bat, they were able to push past the Twins 4-1. The Houston Astros, on the other hand, haven't been very successful lately. Last night, the Rays completed a clean sweep of the Stros with a 5-3 win. From the KEEL Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
A few years ago, my wife
.117 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, and he is school superintendent in DeSoto Parish, and he hasn't been here for quite some time. Cade Brumley. Hey, Mr. Cade, Dr. Cade, how are you this morning?
Man, I am stoked. I'm on a school parking lot watching things happening. We're ready to roll.
School back in DeSoto Parish today. What are the big changes? What are you looking at?
You know, no big changes, Aaron. The things that we're doing, they're working. We're going to stick with them. We're always looking to continuously improve, but no major shifts this year.
Caddo Parish has got about 250 new teachers. What's that number for DeSoto Parish? Do you have it in your brain?
Yeah, we're around 60. Of course, we're a smaller district, so we have about 60 new teachers. Brought those guys and gals in last week. Had a week of induction, and they're ready to roll. And you know, that's the most important thing is hiring great, gifted educators to be in front of our kids, because the rubber meets the road in the classroom. And so we put a lot of investment in making sure that we recruit appropriately, onboard appropriately, and retain the absolute best for our kids.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Retain is a big word. A lot of parishes, a lot of counties are seeing teachers leave for greener pastures, meaning more money or whatever. What is the critical thing to keeping a teacher in your classroom? Is it money?
Well, there are 3 things, Aaron, that we say in DeSoto Parish matter. The first is that teachers want to have a leader, as in their principal, that is acceptable to them, someone that they want to work with. Number 2, they want to be in an environment where they can grow, get better at their craft, feel supportive. And number 3, a compensation package that makes sense. And we try to do all 3 of those things here in DeSoto Parish.
Okay, your buses are all air conditioned. I know you get this complaint all the time, starting so early, but you've got all your buses air conditioned. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. All of our buses are air conditioned. All of our classrooms are air conditioned. And, you know, we will do recess inside for the time being until, you know, heat index is below 100. So we won't have kids out in recess today. But, you know, the environment is fine. We're ready to go. And in many cases, the environment at school is much better than what kids may be used to during the summer at home.
The early start, people gripe about it. What is it? Is it built in because you want to have fall breaks? I know you've told us before you want to have more frequent breaks. Is that accurate?
Right,
And
right.
is that a help?
A couple of things. I think for one, the summer learning drain, we eliminate some of the time there where kids are away from educators and lose some of that those educational experiences. The second thing would be we try to build a calendar that's balanced and makes sense so that, once everyone grows a little tired, whether it's the student or the teacher, a break comes along to help alleviate some of that stress.
I think it was last year for the first, God, I hope that's you and not Erin. Is it?
Stomach's growling.
Yeah, I know. It was, speaking of food, that was what I was going to ask. Last year, I think it was, you implemented for the first time the free lunch for everybody plan. How did that work out?
It was good. We piloted that 2 years ago. We went full scale last year, and this year we're going system wide. We saw about a 3 to 4% uptake in breakfast participation and about a 2% increase in lunch participation.
You've also had big improvements in terms of you're now an A school district. You're, I think, number 14 in the state. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. We were number 45 in 2010, and we're number 14 right now.
Goal to be in the top 10, I guess, for this year? You think you can make it?
We're plugging away. We're plugging away every day. A couple of things matter there. Strategy. We think we have a good strategy going into the year, and the next thing is talent, meaning people in those classrooms who are making a difference for kids.
One more thing. This was the controversial end of the school year last year. People bringing the Confederate flag onto the school campuses. What's your policy? What is going to be happening today if that indeed does happen at all in DeSoto?
Yep. Right now I'm looking at a beautiful flag. It's got stars and stripes on it. It's the one that we salute every single morning. That's the flag that we hope to see the most of. We do not support Confederate flags on our campuses at this time, just because of the emotions that stirs up within some members of our school, and it creates an environment that's not good for everyone.
If kids have them flying on their vehicles, they need to put them away when they're on the campus. Is that essentially how it'll be handled?
Yes, ma'am.
Cade Brumley, Superintendent in DeSoto Parish, on day one. I know we'll talk again. Thank you, sir.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
629, it's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, just ahead of local news traffic update right now. Here's Ruben on KEEL.
It is once again the best time of day to get from A to B because everything is all clear for your early morning drive to work. But look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on North Market near North Hearn Avenue. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. Tomorrow, a shower or thunderstorm around, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
On a 6-6 vote, a measure to disband the Citizens Advisory Committee fails in Caddo Parish. The panel's been studying options for dealing with the Confederate monument at the courthouse. Caddo Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts urged her colleagues to take control of this issue and be done with it.
I think it's important that we take the charge and make the hard decisions, as it said, that we should do on moving forward. stop dragging it along and just vote the way that you are going to vote.
The advisory committee has another meeting set for next week, and a final non-binding resolution could be passed. It's back to school today in DeSoto Parish. Buses are rolling. Deputies will be keeping a close eye on the school zones. Back to school for Caddo not until August 14th. Now, we have 250 new teachers in Caddo Parish for the school year. The new hires are attending a 5-day orientation, giving them a full overview of the curriculum. They'll also learn how to integrate technology into the classroom and be assigned a coach that will mentor them through their first year. The Caddo coroner has confirmed that a body found in Brushy Bayou is that of missing 7-year-old Deshaun Combest. The little boy's mom, Mary Edmond, has a message for our community.
I just want to, like I said, thank everybody that's been out here helping, searching for my son. And I just want to thank everybody. And thank everybody for praying for me, because I am really tore up right now.
If you'd like to help the family during their time of need, you can make a donation on GoFundMe or at the Professional Firefighters Credit Union on Healthplex Drive. A homeless couple locked up after their dog bit a Shreveport police officer during a traffic stop. The officer stopped a vehicle on the Clyde Fant Parkway near Lake Street. When he was conducting that stop, the homeless couple began interfering, and their dog bit the officer on the leg. Elio Motors running into more delays. Matt Parker has an update.
Elia Motors says there will be more delays before they can start producing and delivering cars to customers. In the latest filing with the SEC, the startup car company says that it will be 2019 before they can deliver cars to customers, and that there may be a design flaw that will have to be repaired after delivery of the vehicle. The company also states that they plan to go public and list its share on the stock market in an attempt to raise over $100 million for production. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Congress heading out for its summer recess, leaving much undone, a slim record of accomplishments, and tensions between the president and congressional Republicans. Now, Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina says those who are leaking information from the White House should be disciplined.
You just can't have people in the government working for the president picking and choosing what to leak. That's just wrong, and I hope we find out who the person is and they get punished.
The Washington Post printed 2 leaked transcripts from President Trump's first week in office, calls to Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull and Mexican President Enrique Nieto. Partly cloudy today. We could have a little sunshine too, with a high temp near 93 degrees. Right now 77. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning. It's 101.7 FM 710 KEEL. Yes, that's what we're going to talk about.
I figured you were.
Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. So somebody was at the dog park yesterday.
Yeah.
And if there hadn't, what did you say? If there hadn't been a policeman there, you would have gone swimming?
I would have taken a dip. It was so hot. This forecast we had yesterday saying high of 80, I thought, okay, Tiger, me and you, bud, dog park. It's not going to be too
I don't
hot.
know where you got the idea it was going to be 80.
They said it on the
Even
AccuWeather.
Ours was like 84 or 86.
No, she was saying 80. I wrote it down yesterday. Maddie can testify.
You wrote it down wrong.
No, Maddie can testify.
And it ended up being about like 92.
It was hot as heck. I was getting ready to go swimming.
It was 92.
If there hadn't
It was
been
just humid.
Seriously, if there hadn't been a police car over there, I might have stuck my feet in.
So what's going on? Why is there why a police car at the benign dog park?
No, you know what? He was just over in the shade, kind of by the boat launch. He wasn't over by the dog park, but he was sitting in the shade, maybe writing his reports or whatever.
Nobody called to turn you in.
Nope, nobody called to turn me in. It was a very, uneventful day. There were only a few dogs there.
Right.
But Tiger, who is a veteran of the dog park, and he's a veteran of many dog parks.
He's like the group leader.
He took his first swim yesterday.
Did he?
He decided, it's too hot. I'm getting in here. And he
now, did he
dove
go in over his head?
No,
As
no,
we used to say in second grade, you go in over your head.
He doesn't do anything with that snout that's going to cause problems.
Right.
He knows his snout
So
is...
if you threw him into the middle, do you think he'd know how to swim? Or would
yeah.
that, you
All
think,
dogs do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. It's instinctive. Look it up.
You think so?
You idiot.
No, I don't believe
Come
that.
on.
No.
Matt, did he not go to school?
I'm with Robert on this.
All dogs know how to swim.
No, they
That's
don't.
like saying all people know how to swim.
they
No,
don't.
every dog instinctively
Okay, wait.
does this with their feet. You know that.
You do that. Look, that's what Mark Wahlberg did in the last scene of. Never mind. What movie was that at the end where he was on the boat with George Clooney?
Was that The Perfect Storm? Or
Yes. I mean, he's doing like that at the end, but you knew he's going to drown.
All dogs can swim.
Get a
All
vet on the
dogs
phone.
don't like it.
How much do you want to
I'm
bet?
going to get a vet on the phone before 7 o'clock. I'm going to text her right now.
Because that takes less effort than the Google.
Yeah. I can find a local
The
vet.
average dog has an IQ. If you could translate dog intellect to people intellect, the average dog has an IQ of about 10 to 12. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The average human, even the less intellectually inclined among us, similar to myself, are around 75 to 80.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mhm.
So if you're telling me that a dog knows how to swim, that every dog can swim, Matt, I got to go with Matt. Why can't
every dog might be able to swim, but they can't do calculus.
I can't do calculus. Every dog can swim.
Google that. Can every dog swim?
Let me Google it.
And see
Hang
what
on.
it says.
Let me get on the Google.
839, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Until it's Friday on this train. Here comes Ruben. Traffic time.
Everything's still running nice and smooth for your early morning drive to work, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Shreveport-Barksdale Highway near Knight Street. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. A shower or thunderstorm around tomorrow, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
Yeah, like 60 minutes in here, kids.
Yeah.
No stone left unturned.
Mike Wallace and Morley Safer we are.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. So what did you find?
Oh, man.
Some people, read the first story. You Googled, can all dogs swim?
Yeah. The Google says, And I'm not a fan of the Goog now.
The Google.
Some people mistakenly believe all dogs are natural swimmers.
Yeah, like you.
But while most dogs instinctively do a version of the dog paddle, if they find themselves in water, that does not mean they can swim or even stay afloat. Dogs are born with strong natural instincts, including barking, digging, and being totally lovable to humans, which is BS. My dog is not totally lovable to humans.
Some dogs are not even buoyant. I mean, that's what that
Why
says.
do they call it the doggy paddle then?
Because that's the one they try before they sink to the bottom.
Oh, man. Some dogs will sink like a sack of bricks when submerged.
Okay, there's this lady in my neighborhood, and she lives
Animal Planet and the Goog, they both
down the street, and she has a Yorkshire Terrier.
Okay.
Now, I used to have 2 Yorkshire Terriers.
Little 5-pounders, right?
They were like maybe 8 or 9.
Okay.
Okay. When I tell you, this lady's Yorkshire Terrier weighs 40 pounds.
Whoa!
I'm not joking. I mean, this dog is eating McDonald's. He's eating Domino's. He's getting carry-out. I'm sure he likes Szechuan
Pepperoni
Chinese.
pizza.
Exactly. The point is, you throw this dog into the tub, he's a goner.
He's dead, yeah. Upside down, 4 legs stiff. Wow. Man. I thought they all could swim.
They can all try to swim.
I thought that. So mine wouldn't go out. He didn't venture out above like his elbows. Do dogs have elbows?
Yeah, they do.
Okay. We didn't venture out above his elbows.
Probably a wise move.
Got his little belly a little bit, red from the mud.
Right.
But he didn't venture out. But I wanted to get in that water
Need
with
to give him a little doggy life preserver. Everything will be okay.
Could I sit on the bank of the pond with my feet in? Would people go crazy if I did that?
As long as you don't pee.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay,
I wouldn't
good.
do that. There's a bathroom nearby.
All right.
I hope.
Yeah.
But why can't I just sit and put my feet in?
Go ahead. See how far
It's mucky water. I get that.
Look, you just keep edging in, and eventually you'll be tased. You know you've gone too far.
Yeah. But they did have a police officer down there. He was kind of, sitting off to the side. But no kids swimming yesterday. It was all good at the dog park.
Speaking of local land, local monuments, what did the Cattle Commission do yesterday pertaining to the Confederate monument near the courthouse? I'm not going to say on the courthouse grounds. That's going to court. That is going to go to court. There's no doubt about that. Who owns the land? We do. No, we do. Well, we've got the documents. Well, you don't have the documents. Well, this document is 1,000 years old and nobody cares about it.
And there was a handshake and, all that good stuff.
Where are we pertaining to the Citizens Advisory Committee that Lyndon Johnson demanded be disbanded and the commission take a vote? What happened yesterday?
They had a lengthy meeting about it. Lots of people spoke. Several commissioners spoke. The motion was to disband that advisory committee. That was by Caddo Commissioner Lyndon Johnson.
Right.
And it failed on a 6-6 vote. It needed a supermajority, so it needed 2/3. So it wasn't even close. But it was failed in a 6-6 vote. And I want to say that was along racial lines. I may be wrong.
Now,
but,
Mr. Johnson's stance is that the reason that the commission, or at least some of the commissioners, don't want to disband the Citizens Advisory Council and or committee is because they don't want to be forced with making a decision about that. They just don't want to deal with it. There are others who feel that the reason that the Citizens Advisory Committee has been lax, a little reticent to meet, is because they don't really want to deal with this either. Then my thought is, well,
That's not true.
Why did you volunteer for this committee? Explain to me why the Citizens Advisory Committee that was put together by the Cattle Commission nearly a year ago. How many meetings does it take?
9 months.
To make a decision. No, it's been 9 months, and they don't have a decision,
right.
which explains the impatience on the part of some parish commission members.
I think I can explain. They had several months of public hearings in different locations around the parish, trying to cover as many areas as they could. Public hearings. 1 month is a public hearing here. The next month is a public hearing here. Now we get down to July and August where we're going to make a recommendation to the commission. One of the meetings, one of the key players on the advisory committee, the secretary, could not be at the meeting or had to leave early. So they postponed taking a vote at that meeting. She's on one side of the issue, okay? At the next meeting, 2 people who were on the opposing side could not be at the meeting. And they said, you delayed a vote for her, so you need to delay a vote for us. That's only fair. Because she wasn't there and wasn't present, every vote should count. You need to delay the meeting for us. I get that.
It's intriguing to me.
Or it would be like, oh, you're unfair. You made us vote and 2 of our people couldn't be there.
It's intriguing to me that everybody seems to know how everybody else is going to vote. And if that's the case, they could practically do it over the phone and email the results in.
Yeah, it was.
Or are they waiting for, well, today at the Cattle Commission, we're going to have the official presentation by the Citizens Advisory Committee.
Now, their next meeting is August 10th. And I would hazard to guess there will be a decision made, a vote taken at that meeting.
No, that's not a decision. It's a recommendation.
It's a recommendation. It's non-binding. It goes to the Cattle Commission, and they're going to do what they want with it. You know, they're going to put it in a file 13, wherever. And then they're going to vote.
At what point now is a vote? And we can try to track down, because I know that Commissioner Mario Chavez had some public comments last evening.
Mm-hmm.
We can try to track him down a bit past 7 o'clock if you are inclined.
You bet.
But at what point do you have any guess? At what point that the commission may, in fact, because there's a bunch of them ready to go, do you have any idea at what point the commission may actually want to take a vote on the future of the monument?
They want to do it quickly. They want to get it up, moving down the road. And we have comments this morning in our news. Hopefully we'll catch up with Mario Chavez, perhaps Stephen Jackson, the president of the commission. We'll see who's available.
648, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL traffic and weather updates right now. Don't forget Your Money Now, just seconds away. But here's Ruben.
Everything's still running nice and smooth for your early morning drive to work. But look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Shreveport-Barksdale Highway near Knight Street. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. Tomorrow, a shower or thunderstorm around, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
A couple of seconds to fill. I can do that. Right now, 72. It's 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, hold your horses. Your Money Now is coming up next from Fox, and it's right here on KEEL.
He's the Cajun Rush Limbaugh. He's Moon Fawn, and we have him weekdays from 9 to 11 on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. KEELnews.com. KEELnews.com.
What is the critical
Minnesota Parish Matter? The first is that teachers want to have a leader, as in their that teachers want to have a leader, as in their principal, that is acceptable to get better at their craft, feel supportive. And number 3, a compensation package that made sense. And we try to do all 3 of them. Absolutely. All of our buses are air conditioned. All of our classrooms are air conditioned. And, you know, we will do recess inside for the time being until, you know, heat index is below 100. So we won't have kids out in recess today. But, you know, absolutely, all of our buses are air conditioned, all of our classrooms are air conditioned, and, you know, we.
Good morning, 652 KEEL Sports.
But, you know, the environment is fine. We're ready to go, and in many cases, the environment at school is much better than what the kids may be used to during the summer at home.
The early start.
A couple of things. I think, for one, the summer learning drain, we eliminate some of the time there where kids are away from educators and lose some of that those educational experiences. Everyone grows a little tired, whether it's the student or the teacher. A break comes along to help alleviate. Everyone grows a little tired, whether it's the student or the teacher. A break comes along to help alleviate some of that stress. Everyone grows a little tired, whether it's the student or the teacher. A break comes along to help alleviate some of that stress. It was good. We piloted that 2 years ago. We're making a difference for kids.
One more thing.
We're plugging away. We're plugging away every day. A couple of things matter there. Strategy. We think we.
You've also had big improvements.
It was good. We piloted that 2 years ago, and we're number 14 right now.
Gold. You've also had big improvements.
There you go.
Number 14 in the state. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. We were number 45 in 2010, and we're number 14 right now.
Goal to be in the top 10, I guess, for this year? You think you can make it?
We're plugging away. We're plugging away every day. A couple of things matter there. Strategy. We think we have a good strategy going into the year. And the next thing is talent, meaning people in those classrooms who are making a difference for kids.
One more thing. This was the controversial end of the.
We're plugging away. We're plugging away every day. A couple of things matter there. Strategy. We think we have a good strategy going into the year. And the next thing is talent, meaning we have a good strategy going into the year. And the next thing is talent, meaning strategy going into the year. And the next thing is talent, meaning we think we have a good strategy going into the year. And the next thing is talent, meaning.
And a model home.
Let me see, just about 60 seconds. 1017 FM 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin. You've sort of been keeping up to speed with the Colin Kaepernick story.
A little bit, yeah.
You know the latest about his girlfriend?
No, I don't.
Okay, a couple of days ago, we'll give you the basics now. Parky can give you the basics.
Oh God!
With this is not a giving, loving, supportive woman. Well, she's trying to
well,
be.
She's trying to support her man, and it's not going well.
Okay, so Colin Kaepernick, who had by choice left the San Francisco 49ers because his contract was up, he didn't want to re-sign. And so off he goes. He's a free agent. Nobody will sign him, and everybody thinks it's because he wouldn't stand for because he knelt for the national anthem. So he auditions, he tries out, he works out for the Baltimore Ravens, and by all accounts, John Harbaugh, the coach, they like what they see, and they're interested. So the day after his workout with the Ravens, his girlfriend says
that Steve Bisciotti, the owner, is a slave owner, and that Ray Lewis is just his house slave, and just went on this rant.
Actually,
against-
she used the term Ray Lewis, Hall of Fame, former Ravens Hall of Fame linebacker, is the team house Negro, was the term she used. Woo. So, evidently, discussions between Kaepernick and the Ravens are, let's say, temporarily called off. 6:57, here's Rush on KEEL.
New Mexico. He's in charge of getting Democrats elected to the House of Representatives, in addition to himself. Right now, the Democrats are 24 seats down, 24 seats in the hole. In a recent interview with The Hill, Congressman Lujan said that a broad coalition is needed to make up the difference. He said, we have to be a big family in order to win the House back. And then he said, there won't be a litmus test for Democrat candidates. Instead, the party will find people who fit their districts. In conservative districts, the party will provide financial support for pro-life. What? Lujan's comments set off a Democrat civil war, I'll bet. Howard Dean declared that he wouldn't support this guy if they dared back a pro-life candidate. Every pro-abortion group, like Snarl and Emily's List, registered their outrage. A coalition of progressive groups is circulating a statement of principles demanding a litmus test on abortion. Rosie O'Donnell even weighed in. She said, she waddled in. She said if the Democrats ever get behind pro-life candidates, women should leave the Democrats and form their own party. Now, despite all their talk about inclusion, diversity, tolerance, the Democrats will never tolerate it.
We think we have a good strategy going into the year, and the next thing is talent, meaning people in those classrooms who are making a difference for kids.
To care for the land you love, I would bet you'd pick the word tough. Well, it's a good thing my friends at Mahindra build the toughest tractors and utility vehicles on earth. Right now, bring your old tractor or UTV in and trade up to tough with savings on a brand new Mahindra. That's right, just trade in the other guys and pay zero down and get 0% financing for up to 60 months or up to $8,400 in real cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranty still comes standard. So get your work done, America, with a Mahindra. Learn more about the world's #1 selling tractor at MahindraUSA.com.
Take advantage of rock-bottom prices and test drive a Mahindra today at Kelly Tractor and Equipment in Longview or visit kellytractor.net. That's kellytractor.net.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport. KEEL, KEEL, Shreveport.
He's as dismissive as ever. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Good morning. It's 7:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Erin has local news, and she's looking ready.
The body of a child is found. We'll talk about that. Back to the books for DeSoto Parish students. We'll have more on that. And the Caddo Commission takes action on the monument. Sort of.
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, okay. Look, it's the back burner. Let's put something there. And a little Elio Motors update.
Oh, boy.
When will I get mine? When will Paul get his? Plus traffic and weather and sports all this hour. And it's coming up on KEEL.
The KEEL Morning Report, now on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Officials found the body of a 7-year-old boy who was swept away in a storm drain in Shreveport. Deshaun Combest was last seen playing near a ditch just before heavy rains began. Shreveport Mayor Ollie Tyler says this is every parent's worst nightmare.
I ask that you continue praying for this mother, Miss Mary Edmond, and the entire family. This family needs our prayers and support.
Deshaun was last seen playing near a ditch not far from the state fairgrounds just before heavy rains lashed the city. Hundreds of workers and volunteers took part in the search that included helicopters, boats, and canines. It's back to school today in DeSoto Parish. Superintendent Dr. Cade Brumley.
We think we have a good strategy going into the year, and the next thing is talent, meaning people in those classrooms who are making a difference for kids.
Caddo students go back on August 14th, and school officials have announced that 250 new teachers will be in the parish for this school year. The new hires are attending a 5-day orientation that will give them a full overview of the curriculum. They'll also learn how to integrate technology into the classroom and be assigned a coach that will mentor them through their first year. The Caddo Commission says no to a plan to disband the Citizens Advisory Committee, which is working on a resolution for the Confederate monument in front of the courthouse. Commissioner Mario Chavez telling KEEL News he wants to give the panel more time.
I may have my own personal opinion. I truly believe that my job is to represent the people, and I would like to hear what the people have to say. And I know they have worked for 9 months to come with a resolution to us from both sides of the spectrum. So I'm looking forward to that data, and then from that data I'll make my opinion.
Advisory Committee Chairman R.J. Johnson says it's important to do what is in the best interest of all of our residents.
At the end of the day, the decision that we make on the monument is going to have a long-term effect on this parish.
The Advisory Committee meets again next week. Homeless couple arrested after a dog bites an officer. Matt Parker has that.
A homeless couple is behind bars after their dog bit a Shreveport police officer during a traffic stop. The officer stopped a vehicle on the Clyde Fan Parkway near Lake Street. While the officer was conducting the traffic stop, a homeless couple began interfering with the officer's work. The officer attempted to get the couple to leave, but they wouldn't. The officer called for backup, and while they were arresting the couple, the dog bit an officer on the leg. The pair has been charged with interfering with an officer of the law. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Lawmakers have scattered for their summer recess, leaving behind a slim record of achievements and a steaming President Trump. The president, angry about what the Republican-led Congress couldn't do, tops on that list, repealing Obamacare. Elio Motors says there will be more delays before they can kick off production and delivering cars to customers. In the latest filing with the SEC, the startup company says it will be 2019 now before they can deliver cars to customers, and that there actually may be a design flaw that will have to be repaired after delivery of the vehicle. The company also states they plan to go public and list shares on the stock market in an attempt to raise over $100 million for production. Partly cloudy today, maybe a shower popping up late in the day, high near 93. Right now it's 77. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
$0015 671-0015 because it's hard to stop a train. Good morning. It's 9 past 7 o'clock, 1017 FM 710 KEEL. Don't forget about the KEEL app, a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. Here's Ruben.
The intersection of Line Avenue and Olive Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now, and we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. A shower or thunderstorm around tomorrow, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
Good morning. It's 12 past 7 o'clock. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 1017 FM 710 KEEL. Joining us for a couple of seconds. I'm sorry, I'm going a million miles an hour this morning. I'll explain why later. Right now, Caddo Commission President Stephen Jackson here. Hey, Mr. Stephen, how are you today?
Good morning, Erin. Good morning, Robert. How you doing?
So 6-6 on the vote to do a disbanding of the Citizens Advisory Committee on the Confederate Monument downtown. Is this a good thing, a bad thing? Were you surprised? Tell us about the meeting yesterday.
Well, I wasn't surprised, but the vote came down as I had kind of predicted it would have come down, and not surprised. Not disappointed. Folks voted how they felt, and we moved on down the road. So, I mean, I certainly appreciate the work that the committee is doing. So I look forward to getting their recommendation.
Did you vote to disband the committee? If so, yes. If not, why not?
Well, I voted, and I'm going to put my political science hat on for a moment, but I voted to disband the committee out of just the courtesy to my colleague who wanted to see the issue go forward. For me, this issue is not the biggest priority on my list. It is a priority. I share some concerns, but it's not the biggest priority on my list. So,
does Stephen Jackson want the monument gone?
Well, I have consistently said to folks, we have several issues throughout Caddo Parish. Right now I'm not ready to go out publicly and say whether I'm for or against that monument being there. I get calls about folks asking about jobs. I get calls about folks asking about economic development, property standards, crime. I don't get overarching calls about the monument, but I am sensitive to the connotation and the history that relates to what the monument stands for.
Is it offensive? Is it offensive to you?
Well, it's not an issue for me, but I'm not down there to serve my interests. I'm down there to serve the public interest, and so I always keep that in play. It could go either way, and I try to listen to both sides. I try to be very open-minded about how I approach the issue. People feel strongly both ways about it, and it's not my goal to diminish one side or the other. It's my goal is to sit back, listen to both sides, and make a respectable and responsible decision.
Lyndon Johnson would have had you make that decision yesterday. He wanted to disband the committee and vote on it.
Well, no.
Were you prepared?
It would have been a two-step process. So
okay.
It would have been to disband the committee. Now, we still are a parliamentary body, so just because the committee would have been banned, you still would have needed a vote or a recommendation from the long-range subcommittee to at least get it to our body. And so just because if that would have happened yesterday, there was no guarantee that it would have gotten a hearing yesterday or next week or a week after. It's still another process in play. And so that's what I want folks to remember.
Stephen, when we had talked to Lyndon earlier this week, he's of the position that the Caddo Commission does, in fact, that Caddo Parish owns the land the monument's on, that it's an open and shut legal case. There are others that obviously disagree. What do you think about that? I assume at some point you or other members of the commission have in fact spoken to lawyers about who owns the land. What do you think about all that?
Well, here's been my position. And I take a different way to a certain conclusion. Or not my conclusion, but to different form of logic to get to a certain point, not conclusion. If the land is actually owned by the parish, then, we get in this argument with the administration at times saying that, the administration has certain duties and the commission doesn't. Well, if this is on Caddo Parish land, I feel that it's an administrative function. Y'all go take the statue down. Don't put the burden on me to do it, because in this case, it seems like they're shifting their burden. But if I wanted to go put a Dodgers sign or a Dallas Cowboys sign out in front of juvenile services, administration would say that's a day-to-day operation issue. So that's one question that I have, or question mark that I have about that. The other is, if it's private property, if it's private property, then you have to deal with, is it properly zoned? And so now you got non-conforming use. Should it be there in the first place? So, I think if everybody kind of takes a step back and try to talk to each other, not talk around each other, or talk, in different directions, there's a solution that I hope we all can come up with as a community, as opposed to tearing the community apart.
Are you optimistic that at some point a conclusion, a compromise on the monument can be reached where it's not going to end up in court and not cost the citizens of Caddo Parish a whole bunch of money?
Well, just the society we live in, folks have a right to sue just about anything, especially in Louisiana. If you talk to some of the trial lawyers, so that's never a guarantee that you won't end up in court. But I do believe that there may be an opportunity to get a compromise going, or there may be an opportunity to come up with community-driven solution. And so, whatever conclusion that has to be reached should involve the community.
Any kind of time frame on the commission actually taking a stand, making a vote? Do you have?
I'm going to be totally honest with you. As I said earlier, this is not the highest priority on my radar. Folks are being shot. Folks are being afraid in their home. Folks are looking for jobs out here. We need industry and economic development to locate here. That's where I'm at, and I have yet to meet a company or business or industry that says, that statue is an issue for us, and we don't, tell us about this monument. They want to know about our schools. They want to know about our quality of life. They want to know about our infrastructure. And so while I say it's an important social issue, it does have its social, and I don't want to diminish its social aspects, not one bit. But should this be the clarion call of the day? We've got to get on one accord. But I believe at some point there's some compromise down the road.
Caddo Commission President Stephen Jackson, thanks for your time, sir.
And thanks for saying clarion call. That was pretty good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was impressive.
19 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update right now. Here's Ruben on KEEL.
The intersection of Line Avenue and Olive Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. A shower or thunderstorm around tomorrow, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
It's 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Time for sports.
With no stars and few starters on the field Thursday night, the Cowboys were able to beat the Arizona Cowboys coach Jason.
We live in, folks have a right to sue just about it. Well,
any kind of time frame on any kind of time?
Well, here's been my position. I take a different way to then, we get in this argument with the administration at times. If this is on Caddo Parish land, we need to do it, because in this case, it seems like they're shifting. If it's private property, there's a solution that I hope we all can come up with as a community.
On the monument.
Well, just the society we live in, folks have a right to sue, get a compromise going, or
Any kind of time frame on the commission actually taking a stand and making a vote? Do you have
shot? Folks are being. This is not the highest priority on my radar. Folks are being shot. Folks are being afraid in their home. Folks are looking for jobs out here. We need industry and economic development to locate here. That's where I'm at, and I have yet to meet a. That's where I'm at, and I have. That's where I'm at, and I have.
What did one dog say to the other dog at the dog park?
What?
I'm not going in that pond. She's in there. 1017 FM 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright, and Erin McCarty. So you
I did not get in.
But you thought about it.
I did think about it.
And in fact, we
It
need to
was
talk
hot.
to Town Square. We need a little chat with Town Square media lawyers a little bit later today.
Mm-hmm.
And to sort of determine, maybe a city attorney, to determine how far, when you take your dog Tiger to the park, how far, if you sit on the little beach area, the shore,
Yeah,
can you at
on
least
the red
get,
clay.
like kind of ankle deep
Yeah, can you dip your toes in?
to cool off on a hot day?
Are you just begging to lose another toe?
Oh gosh,
While there's a
my
dog
toes
swimming
alone.
in there, just a little floater up there. He gets a little hungry, thinking it's a treat.
25 after 7 o'clock, it's 1017 FM 710 Keel. Earlier this week, we had the story. In fact, we've had this for a while. The Ford Explorer's story. Did you see the latest? 2 more states
No.
are having trouble with their police cruisers.
Oh boy.
Massachusetts and in Maryland both. And in fact, there's some video, I think it's from a Massachusetts state trooper, I'm not 100% sure, where he loses consciousness, goes across the median, across the opposite lane, and into a tree on the opposite side of the road. The officer says it's because of the carbon monoxide. What he says is a carbon monoxide leak. And so these 2 states, it looks like, are investigating. Now, it started off, is it really, look at me,
Yeah.
is it really in Austin, Texas, was the number of vehicles taken off the street, police vehicles, 400
Plus. Yes. Now they're rushing to get them back out there. Mind you, they're making the repairs and getting them back out as quick as they can. So they'll have them all back
The
on.
position is that there is, Ford says it's because of the modifications that are made on site by various law enforcement entities that's causing carbon monoxide to leak into the cabin and causing, in many cases, raised carbon monoxide levels that are in fact showing up in blood tests of officers.
Yes.
Now, what does that have to do with us? You tell everybody.
Well, my concern is Shreveport just bought a year or so ago 90 new police cruisers, and they are these Ford Interceptor SUVs. So my question was, when we modified ours,
or do we? I'm
yes,
sure we do.
Put the light bars on them and all
Is it
that.
done on-site?
Oh,
Is
I'm
it
not
done
sure.
off-site? What kind of because there's that to take into consideration also as the legal minds sort of analyze what to do next.
Well, the way the Ford puts out these vehicles is they partially modify them, make them more resistant to bullets and some other things.
Right.
And then when they ship them to your local police departments, they look like undercover cars without the lights or any of the fancy stuff. Then when the departments get them, they put in the cage bars for criminals for the back or modify them for your canine units. So they send them off to somewhere else.
So it is Ford's stance, nonetheless, that the modifications made not by Ford
Right.
are responsible for the monoxide leaks.
City of Shreveport issued a statement to me saying that they have not had problems with officers complaining of sicknesses. They've not had any reports of high carbon monoxide levels in the cars.
So no testing has been done, nor is it would appear any planning to do any testing of officers.
They have no issue, but they take the safety of their officers as a top priority. And so if there are concerns, they will make the needed repairs.
28 past 7 o'clock, it's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin, local news just a couple of seconds away. And traffic and weather updates coming up next on KEEL. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic update right now. Here's Ruben.
Texas Avenue near Murphy Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. Tomorrow, a shower or thunderstorm around, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The Caddo Commission says no to a measure to disband the Citizens Advisory Committee, which is working on a plan for the Confederate monument in front of the courthouse. Advisory Committee Chairman R.J. Johnson says the panel is trying to do the best job possible.
We have taken the charge that you have given us, and I've endeavored to make sure that we have been fair, we have been transparent, and we have been honest. I can only speak for myself in making sure that that has happened.
Commission President Stephen Jackson tells KEEL News the future of the monument is not a top priority for him.
This is not the highest priority on my radar. Folks are being shot. Folks are being afraid in their home. Folks are looking for jobs out here. We need industry and economic development to locate here. That's where I'm at.
The advisory committee meets again next week. Body of a missing boy is found. Matt Parker has that.
The Caddo coroner has confirmed that a body found in Brush Bayou is that of missing 7-year-old Deshaun Combs. Shreveport Mayor Ollie Tyler says that the boy's body was discovered by railroad crews working in the 7200 block of Mansfield Road. Combs was swept away in a rain-swollen ditch Tuesday evening. Tyler asked that residents keep the boy's family in their prayers. If you would like to help the family during their time of need, you can make a donation on GoFundMe or at the Professional Firefighters Credit Union on HealthPlex Drive. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
It's back to school today in DeSoto Parish.
Everyone grows a little tired, whether it's the student or the teacher. A break comes along to help alleviate some of that stress.
The superintendent in DeSoto, Cade Brumley, tells us that he's hoping to have all of the new teachers in place, and he's excited about the new school year. Now, Caddo students go back on August 14th. School officials in Caddo say they have 250 new teachers on board for this school year. Today and tomorrow, you'll be able to purchase school supplies and other items at a reduced state sales tax rate of 3% compared to the normal 5%. National Federation of Business Director Dawn Starnes says it's tough for retailers to get the message out to shoppers about the discount. She says they're disappointed to see what this holiday has become, as it was so successful in the past.
It doesn't drive consumers to the store the way the whole idea of a true sales tax holiday used to. Folks love to have a holiday from taxes.
Elio Motors says there will be more delays before they can start producing and delivering cars to customers. In the latest filing with the SEC, the startup company says it will be 2019 now before they can deliver cars, and there may be a design flaw even that will have to be repaired after delivery of the vehicle. The company also states they plan to go public and list its shares on the stock exchange in an attempt to raise more than $100 million for production. Dubai says firefighters have brought the blaze that broke out overnight in one of the world's tallest residential towers under control. The blaze engulfed the skyscraper and sent chunks of debris plummeting below. More than 40 floors of the 86-story tower were burning on one side of the building, and residents could be seen crying. Several said the fire broke out just after 1 o'clock this morning. Partly cloudy today, maybe a shower popping up late in the afternoon with our high temp close to 93. Right now it's 79. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Uh, 735, Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Not going to spend a lot of time on this because, well, my thought is, why would I buy a car that's been recalled before I even get it, much less before they even build it? Okay, so I'm confused.
This makes me, yeah. Matt was explaining this to me. I'm like, seriously?
We're talking about the latest news regarding Elio.
This is so great.
I guess.
You heard right.
Well, I mean, it's from the get-go, it's been like a comedy of errors, and everything they do, it just seems like they screw up a little bit more and dig a little bit deeper down the hole.
So what's the latest? That we're trying to get you your car as soon as we can, but when we do, we have to fix it?
Yeah, pretty much. What they said in the SEC filing is that this is so ridiculous. Is that, well, we've done tons of research and testing on some test cars, but since they've never really been out there in real-world situations, we don't know what's going to happen. It might.
So I saw the D word, i.e. defects.
Yeah, they're saying there may be design defects, manufacturing errors. I mean, this thing may not even run for more than a dozen miles before it blows up from the way they're talking.
What are the defects that Elio and
they didn't get into the specifics. They're just like, well, you know, we did research, but because it's never really been out there, we don't know if it's actually going to work. So, you know, there may be some issues. And by the way, we're raising the price.
I was just what?
Oh
yeah,
what?
They're going from $6,500 or wherever they were up to $7,450.
So now that means I also.
So you're paying more for a car that may or may not work if you ever get it.
But Mr. Elio is still, I'm not going to say optimistic, but he is still attempting to raise funds to build the car that as soon as you get it, it's going to have to be recalled.
According to the new paperwork, to help get some of those funds, not only is he doing some independent things, but they're talking about going public on the stock exchange to make a little cash and hopefully raise upwards of $100 million, I think is the number they mentioned.
So not that I know much about the stock market because I have people who do that for me, but I know what IPO initial public offering. Does anyone in this room have an inclination, should Elio Motors go public? Really, what do you make? Well, nothing yet, but when it does, we're going to have to take it back and fix it.
It's going to be broke.
Does anybody in this room have the slightest inclination, should there be an Elio Motors IPO, that they would take some of their hard-earned cash and, in fact, invest in Elio Motors? That was my head count.
Crickets.
638. Sorry, 738. 1017 FM 710 Keel. Traffic and weather. Yeah, let's go right now. Ruben, you're waving what?
Michael Corbin is joining us next, by the way, going to talk about what we can do on our storm drains in lieu of the tragedy this week.
You got it, kid. Right now, traffic update. Ruben looks ready, and he's on Keel.
The intersection at North Spring Street and East Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. A shower or thunderstorm around tomorrow, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
It is 7:41. It's Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 1017 FM, 710 Keel, and the Keel app. Oh, by the way, if you're listening via 1017 FM, a few technical changes. It sounds freaking awesome.
It's amazing.
It sounds great the last couple of days. So good work, guys. The Keel app, presented by Office Furniture Source, sounds awesome. And for AM, hey, for my aged ear, doesn't sound bad at all. Shreveport City Councilman Michael Corbin is joining us. Hey, Mr. Mike, how are you today?
Good morning, Robert and Erin. How are y'all today?
Good. You apparently are one of the council members who wants to look to see if there's anything the city can do to cover some of the storm drains. Is that accurate, or are you hoping we can look at some alternatives in light of the tragedy we had this week?
Well, you know, certainly the city's still in shock from this tragedy and Deshaun. I think what we have to do is look and see, are there any places that we can make improvements that does not affect what the storm drain system is supposed to do. And part of that may be some fencing, part of that may be education. a number of things. But I think it's a good time to take a step back and go, okay, are there some things that we can do differently?
What are some things we could do differently?
And I think that's what the engineers have to come back and say. I heard the CAO this morning on another media outlet, saying that the engineering group was going to come in and look at some of our open drainage and make some recommendations. And ultimately, it'll come back to how do we prevent an accident if possible, but also not increase the possibility of flooding a neighborhood.
Obviously no idea, nothing like a cost estimate at this point, right?
No, not at all. And I think that will be a big issue because we are squeaking by with the money that we have right now. And if suddenly we come up and say, well, we need to spend another $20 million on grate protection, for lack of a better word, we have to identify where that source of funds would come from.
Michael,
but,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought. I apologize.
Ultimately, we have over 1,000 miles of underground drainage in the city, and many inlet points and a number of outlet points, and it would be a daunting task to cover every inlet point within that system.
Mike, if folks might not understand, explain to everybody what you mean when you say to put grates over drains, pipes, etc. What you mean by the possibility, the danger of flooding a neighborhood, because they might not, folks might not get that.
Well, we have open ditches, such as what we saw in this situation. Open ditch that goes into underground drainage. You have street drains that line many of our city streets. And all of the runoff that goes into each of these types of gathering points, if you will, go into a series of tunnels and culverts that eventually, in most cases, lead to large open ditches and take water either to Wallace Lake or to Red River. That system twists and turns a lot, and if you have an inch of rain in an hour, there's a tremendous amount of water that goes into those drains at any one time, and they're designed and engineered, to gather water quickly, to keep it flowing quickly, and clear it out so we don't have street and home flooding.
Stephanie Lynch apparently has been working on this prior to this tragedy. Are you aware of what she's been hoping and asking for from the administration or not?
I'm not aware of any request for protections at storm drains at all.
Would the storm drain covers, could they cause some problems? Could we end up trapping things in there that's going to cause more work by crews?
Well, anytime you add, whether we add a fence, we add signs, we add a grate, then that's something else that the city has to maintain. A bigger concern, and we see it especially in the summertime when people are mowing their grass clippings get in the street, things like that, and suddenly we have a hard rain, you see some of the drains getting clogged up with debris, with litter, with tree limbs and things like that. So if you add some sort of a grate structure to some of our drain inlets, then you run that risk of those becoming blocked, and again, we have that flooding scenario.
Your message today, obviously this has been a tragic scenario in our city. Your message today to that family?
Well, I think we have to continue to love and support the family. We have to do our due diligence and see, are there any protections that the city can put in place that make sense? And again, I come back to education of how dangerous running water can be, and continue to get that word out there. I mean, kids will be kids, and we know that, but we have to make sure that they know that running water can be dangerous, and do everything we can to keep them away from those areas.
Shreveport City Council Member Michael Corbin, thanks for your time.
Thanks. Y'all have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
It is 747, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Let's see, Your Money Now is coming up in just a couple of minutes, and Fletcher is still on vacation, but Parkey, a more than adequate fill-in for the bar that Fletch sets so high. What?
And it's your old argument. You know who's retiring. He's going to tell you about it. And you have always talked about this. Who's the world's greatest athlete?
What? In sports?
Yeah, big retirement.
Got to listen close. And by the way, if you haven't heard the latest on Colin Kaepernick and how many more toes does this guy have to shoot off, not that would necessarily hinder his performance. 748, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic and weather updates next.
Any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Good morning, 749. Here's your Keel, AccuWeather.com forecast. Kinda sunny, a few clouds here and there. High later today in the low 90s. Right now, 75, 1017 FM, 710 Keel, 750. Your Money Now. FM 710 Keel, 750. Your Money Now.
I'm Rasa Kay with Your Money Now. The U.S. created two
Good morning, 752 Keel Sports. Here's Matt.
With no stars and few starters on the field Thursday night, the Cowboys were able to beat the Arizona Cardinals 20-18. Cowboys coach Jason Garrett said the main goal was to get their young players a lot of action. With the win in the bag, the Cowboys now head to Cleveland for owner Jerry Jones's induction into the Football Hall of Fame. One of track and field's greatest sprinters is expected to run his last individual race Saturday in London. Jamaican Usain Bolt says he will retire after dominating his sport for a decade. Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth shot 3 under 67s that leave them 2 shots behind leader Thomas Pieters through one round of the PGA's Bridgestone Invitational at Akron, Ohio. McIlroy is playing for the first time since parting ways with caddy J.P. Fitzgerald and replacing him with Harry Diamond, his best friend. Pieters birdied his final hole for a 65 and a one-shot lead over Russell Knox. The Texas Rangers are starting to turn things around and win again. Last night, behind the power of Joey Gallo's bat, they were able to push past the Twins 4-1. The Houston Astros, on the other hand, haven't been very successful lately. Last night, the Rays completed a clean sweep of the Stros with a 5-3 win. From the KEEL Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
Good morning, 754. Robert and Erin, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. So Usain Bolt is retiring, the greatest sprinter of all time, I think. And you said, well, who's the greater athlete, Michael Phelps or Usain Bolt? And both the greatest who have ever existed in their particular endeavors.
Who's got more Olympic gold medals, though?
Well, Michael Phelps, because there's more events. I mean, there's only so many events that a sprinter can participate in. There's 3.
Okay, which 3?
The 100-meter, the 200-meter, and the 400-meter relay.
Why don't he do the hurdles?
Because he's not a hurdler.
Why
doesn't Michael Phelps run track? Because he's not a track runner. Okay, look at it this way.
Michael Phelps does all the strokes in the pool?
No, he doesn't do all the distances. I mean, he does the majority of them, but no. I mean, they have their particular specialties.
I think Michael Phelps is a greater athlete.
Look at it this way. Everybody, even you, even Matt, at one point in your life have attempted to run. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody in the history of the world at one point, going back 10 million years, whether you're running to catch the ice cream man today or whether 10 million years ago you're trying to get away from the woolly mammoth or the saber-toothed tiger.
I've actually jumped over a hurdle.
Everybody has in fact run. Okay? Not everybody's been a swimmer. Everybody has at least once in their life run.
Yeah, true.
Usain Bolt, going back 10 million years, is the fastest runner who's ever walked the earth.
Ooh.
That's pretty damn impressive.
That way,
that's pretty impressive.
Pretty big.
He's the fastest man who's ever lived, going back to any point in the history of mankind walking erect.
What do you do at age 30 and you weigh 120 pounds and you're now retired?
Who weighs 120 pounds?
He's skinny.
Usain Bolt weighs about 210. He's a big...
Does he really?
Oh, those sprinters are big, muscular guys.
He looks so skinny.
756, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic and weather just ahead. Right now, Sean Hannity.
Espresso starts right here. It's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
So our friends at the Washington Free Beacon, what are they reporting? The former FBI director, James Comey, yes, he has now signed a book with Flatiron Books to write a book about leadership and decision-making. Throughout his career, James Comey has had to face one difficult decision after another as he served the leaders of our country, said the president of Flatiron. In a statement, his book promises to take us inside those extraordinary moments in our history and showing us how these leaders have behaved under pressure. Several publishers were bidding on the rights for the book. Three sources close to the book deal told the AP that the bid climbed to over $2 million. Yes, it pays to be a leaker-in-chief.
The Sean Hannity Show from coast to coast later today.
If you know the value of good machines, then it's high time we got together. We're Bailey Industrial, builders of metal and woodworking equipment, hard-working machines for hard-working people. We stand behind our equipment and make sure our equipment stands behind you, offering you the after-sale support you need to keep your shop running smoothly, which means making sure you have what you need when you need it, typically shipping within 72 hours or less. So whether you're a fabricator or manufacturer of metal or wood products, go to Bailey.com or call 920-MACHINE and we'll send you a catalog. That's right, friend, over 400 pages of what you love most, machines. So whatever you're looking to build or manufacture, do it with Bailey Industrial, the company you can trust to give you the equipment and service you can rely on. That's BAILEIGH, Bailey, because if it's worth doing right, it's only right to do it with Bailey. So call 920-MACHINE or go to Bailey.com now and pick up your free catalog.
If I want to know what's going on in the morning in Shreveport and Bossier, I tune in to Robert and Erin each weekday morning.
Start your day with Robert and Erin in the morning. Breaking news and trending talk. 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
It is 7:59, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic update, Rapid Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road near Shed Road in Bossier City due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. Tomorrow, a shower or thunderstorm around, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
Breaking news and trending.
89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
Breaking news and trending talk.
Good morning. It's 8:03. Robert and Erin, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Down at that end, local news. Erin's got it up next.
More school bells are ringing today. We'll talk more about that. The Caddo coroner confirms the body of a child. We'll have that as well. And the Caddo Commission takes action on the monument.
We've got a couple of Stephen Jackson sound bites. I want to play those back. Were you surprised by what Mr. Jackson, Caddo Commission president, had to say? I was a little bit, especially his priorities.
A smidgy poo.
Plus, I was giddy, I was starstruck, and some say I embarrassed myself. We will see what my friends in the studio think as soon as my friends show up. Plus, traffic and weather, and Matt Scott Sports. It's all this hour, and it's here on Keel. 9 past 8 o'clock. It's 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Time for Friday morning. Yay, Friday. Traffic. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some backed up traffic on North Market near North Common Street. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. A shower or thunderstorm around tomorrow, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
Good morning. It's 12 past 8. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. And the Keel app presented by Office Furniture Source. It sounds pretty darned awesome, and you can download for free. I may have said that. On the 1 to 10 scale, well, just let me ask you both. When James Burton was here yesterday, at least on the air, I maintained some sense of decorum and professionalism and didn't go off the giddy deep end.
You hung in there.
Did I do okay?
You did.
Because when the mics were off, I felt like I was like a 7-year-old kid on the Bozo Show. Oh, my God.
You know what? It's very rare that we have a guest that you talk to off the air, or about stuff that might make it on the air. Normally, Erin's the one that violates the keep it on the radio.
And we have a motto.
Rule.
We have a slogan, keep it on the radio.
You were asking questions, and I was like, Bob, you're breaking your own rule, kid.
Keep it on the radio.
Yeah.
So of all the James Burton, because if you missed any of that yesterday, some of it is on the website. A few things, we'll get to that in a second. But of the off-the-radio stuff, because it was in the 8 o'clock hour, so people listening now may have heard most of that, of the interview.
Sure.
Of the off-the-air stuff.
Oh, I wish I could tell the one story.
No.
I really
Okay,
do.
you can't tell that one.
That's also my favorite thing,
I know.
too, that we heard. Because
no.
Yeah.
No, stop.
Can we just say what it was about?
No. No.
Because then then I can tell my friends.
No.
People can text me and we can tell them, can't we?
No.
No, we
It's
can't.
supposed to be confidential.
Oh, my
That's what he
bad.
said. He's
Okay.
like, I don't want to broadcast
No,
this.
he wants to know he can trust you in the future.
He can. He knows he can.
Evidently, he can't.
No, he can't.
You're just chomping at the bit to spill the beans
I'm
over
not
there.
going to spill no beans.
So, of all the things we discussed other than that, off the radio, what was the thing that you just went, oh, my God?
I like the part about Elvis calling him.
That was on the radio.
Yeah. And,
Well, you know what? We've got that right now. Let's play that, then we'll come back, okay?
Because I had another one I like, too.
Okay, so this is basically James, and it's on the website, too, at keelnews.com. This is James Burton and talking about, the first time he ever spoke to Elvis.
The first time you met Elvis, tell us about what you remember. How old were you? How old was he? What was the circumstance?
Well, I met Elvis actually in '69 when I put a band together for him. I never got a chance to meet him at the Louisiana Hayride because I worked with Bob Luman when we played the same music. Horace Logan, the manager, wouldn't let us perform.
So, pardon me, one day the phone rings and it's Elvis or Elvis's people and say, you're in charge of getting me a band.
Elvis called and said, James, I watched you on the Oz and Harry show. You and Ricky perform a song. And him and Ricky were friends, and they played softball, football together and everything. But I didn't meet Elvis until 1969. But when I talked to him on the phone, it was like we'd known each other our whole lives.
Was it like that musically, too?
Well, yeah, I mean, he was...
I would imagine through the years there's guys that you meld, that you mesh with immediately, and there's guys that your styles or personalities, you go, well, I'll play with him one time. I would assume Elvis was the one that there was immediate simpatico, right?
Well, he kind of put it like, he followed my career, and it's like he's the king of rock and roll. I mean, he's watching me on TV, King of Rock and Roll. I mean, how cool is that?
Sure.
And but I was late for work that day. I had recording sessions all day, and I was like an hour late getting to
my goodness.
first session.
What kind of pressure is there when Elvis is on the phone and says, I want you to put a band together for me? Did you think, I got to get really, really good guys?
Well, the story was, I turned Elvis down because I was working with Frank Sinatra on doing an album with Jimmy Bowen produced. And then the word got out, well, I turned Elvis down because I was working with Frank Sinatra. That's not true, but I couldn't do the comeback special in '68 because I was doing an album with Frank.
Sorry, E, I can't make it. I'm working with Blue Eyes.
What's the biggest something unknown about Elvis that would surprise people that you knew about him as a man? You knew him in his heyday and beyond.
I don't really know of anything that I could talk about, except when I met him, I will say he was one of the finest people I've ever met, and not from a star point, but he was a great guy. He was just really super.
Okay.
My favorite part off the air was when he got to talking about all the cars that he has. He has some cars that are so cool. He's got collector
Those are ones
cars
downtown this weekend you can see, by the way.
He's going to have a couple of his.
Starting today, it's called Guitars and Cars, and it's James Burton and Art Space, and it's going on this weekend, but go ahead.
Yes, he's got some old Cadillacs from the 50s and 60s. He's into those old Mercedes now, though, and he's got a couple of those.
Oh, you mean the ones worth $1 million?
They're amazing vehicles. And then he drove off. Was he in a pickup truck?
Yeah, he was.
Kind of a just a regular old guy pickup truck.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, he's got this fleet of these beautiful cars, and he drove off in
off the air. He was telling the story about how they did sort of a Viva Las Vegas movie reunion.
Oh yeah.
And that Anne Margaret, who was in Viva Las Vegas with Elvis, and she had specifically for her musical number asked for him.
Asked for James Burton.
Yes.
Not Elvis.
And it dawned on me two things. One, understand that James Burton, born in Dubberly, Louisiana, Shreveport guy now for a bunch of years, he has been literally, and think about this in any other endeavor, any other career. James Burton has been at the top of the music business since he was 17 years old.
Wow.
He's 77 or 78 right now. For 60 years, he has been an A-lister and remains so today because his game at the age of 78, he has the same game. Making a big deal. Tom Brady is 40. How long can he keep up? How long can he maintain the excellence? James Burton has been at the top of his guitar game for 60 years and still is.
Yep, going to be 78 on the 21st of this month.
And the thing that amazed me, not amazed me because it's something you know, but when he was telling the Anne Margaret story, how she asked for him specifically to play on her musical number, it dawned on me, James Burton works in an industry where cost and price, understand everything we do, and probably in your business too, cost, price is the first thing anybody thinks about.
Yeah.
In show business, cost and price is almost never, ever, ever a factor.
And if Anne Margaret asks for you and says, he's my guy, Man, you can name your price.
19 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic update right now. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some backup traffic on North Market near North Common Street, and we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. A shower or thunderstorm around tomorrow, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
Twenty-one past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Time for sports. Here's Matt.
With no stars and few starters on the field Thursday night, the Cowboys were able to beat the Arizona Cardinals 20-18. Cowboys coach Jason Garrett said the main goal was to get their young players a lot of action. With the win in the bag, the Cowboys now head to Cleveland for owner Jerry Jones's induction into the Football Hall of Fame. One of track and field's greatest sprinters is expected to run his last individual race Saturday in London. Jamaican Usain Bolt says he will retire after dominating his sport for a decade. Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth shot 3 under 67s that leave them 2 shots behind leader Thomas Pieters through one round of the PGA's Bridgestone Invitational at Akron, Ohio. McIlroy is playing for the first time since parting ways with caddy J.P. Fitzgerald and replacing him with Harry Diamond, his best friend. Peters birdied his final hole for a 65 and a one-shot lead over Russell Knox. The Texas Rangers are starting to turn things around and win again. Last night, behind the power of Joey Gallo's bat, they were able to push past the Twins 4-1. The Houston Astros, on the other hand, haven't been very successful lately. Last night, the Rays completed a clean sweep of the Stros with a 5-3 win. From the Keel Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
Down Home Meats and Stone.
Twenty-four past 8, Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 101, hold on, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. See, I just got ahead of myself. So you got this, was it a text?
Mm-hmm.
Explain to me, is this a scam? Somebody tried to scam you again?
Yes, and I wonder if I'm the only one who got this scam message. I got a text from Chase Bank. It was kind of late last night, about 10 p.m.
When you say Chase, is it
Chase
really?
Bank?
No, I understand who that is.
Yeah.
Is it really Chase, or is it
That's what it says it's from.
A Chase impersonator?
It turns out to be a Chase impersonator, but it's when I opened it on my phone, it says Chase Mobile Alert. Then it has your name. Then it says your card ending in blah blah has been locked.
Did they have the numbers right?
They only had the last 4 digits.
Did they have them right?
They had the last 4 digits right.
Wow,
now, they didn't have my whole credit card. If they had the whole number, I'd be, whoa.
No. But the fact that they were able to get the last 4
They
right.
had the last 4 digits right. It says your card ending in blah, blah has been locked. Please call, and they give you an 800 number. And I'm like, I use that credit card all the time. I need to unlock the card and see what's up. So I call the number, thinking I'm going to get Chase and I'm going to say, did somebody try to use the card somewhere? Was there some fake charges in, Ethiopia or whatever, and unlock the card and go, this is me. Those weren't my charges. I'm good. Well, when you call the 800 number, you get a thing about, please take our 3-question survey, for blah, blah. And then it says, are you interested in travel in the next 6 months? No. Do you usually travel alone or with a family? I'm like, wait a minute.
But
then I get to the third question. It says it's only 3 questions, so I thought I'll roll through the 3 questions.
Yeah.
And then they said, for completing our survey, you have now won a trip of your choice to anywhere in, Mexico or whatever it was. But it will cost you a service fee to claim your prize.
But isn't there a concern that they had the last 4 digits of your credit card?
Of course it's a concern. And now I'm going to try my credit card today to see if it really is locked. Because that would really... And I'm going to log on to my account this morning and see are there any weird charges. But, I put it up on my Facebook, and people are assuring me that it is a scam, that my card's not locked.
But they've got the last 4 digits of your credit card number.
Somebody does. They can't do anything with the last 4 digits.
They might have the whole number, though. You might want to just cancel your card to be on the safe side and get a new one.
Or at least talk to somebody at Chase and say, here's what happened. What's the protocol? What do you recommend that I do with this card?
Somebody at Chase, if you're listening, you have my digits.
She's
Call
too
me.
lazy to even protect her own credit
I'll
card.
call them.
Well,
I will.
if somebody
But
steals
if
my
they want to call
stuff,
me now,
yeah.
they want to call me now, they can call me now and I'll clear it up. Because I'm going to check to see if there have been any bogus charges on that account and see, if somebody's charging, golf clubs in Houston.
It's only been 12 hours. What the hell?
I don't know it was you.
I just love her lack of concern.
Well,
I'm a little surprised. Well, I'll get to it eventually today.
I'm rolling in it. What can I say?
Maybe they stole some money. Maybe they didn't. No, I'll check later.
I'm going to check right now, okay?
So if
Y'all got me worried now.
Anybody from Chase is listening.
Help me out here.
Don't cut her off yet.
Oh, man. You keep that credit card on. I need to go to the grocery store.
So, you got a fake text message from Chase Bank, not really from Chase, just to summarize.
Right.
You got a fake text message from Chase Bank, but not really Chase, which included the last 4 digits of your real credit card number telling you it had been shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Call this number to unlock it. They didn't ask you for the whole credit card number. They didn't.
No.
Once you were on the line, nothing really.
No. Well, they wanted me to pay a fee to claim my travel prize. And that's when I hung up. But
that was basically it. There wasn't anything to get further information about you. Or maybe they wanted you to pay for your trip via the credit card number, and you hung up on them a little early.
Let's see. I've got charges to Pizza Hut, snack time vending. That's you.
Obviously, somebody's stolen your card. 28 past 8, 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic and weather up next. Good morning. It's 8:29, 1017 FM, 710 Keel Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on East Kings Highway and Uri Drive due to construction. And we have some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. Tomorrow, a shower or thunderstorm around, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
On a 6-6 vote, a measure to disband the Citizens Advisory Committee fails in Caddo Parish. The panel's been studying options for dealing with the Confederate monument at the courthouse. Caddo Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts urged her colleagues to take control of this issue and be done with it.
I think it's important that we take the charge and make the hard decisions, as it said, that we should do on moving forward, stop dragging it along, and just vote the way that you are going to vote.
The advisory committee has another meeting set for next week, and a final non-binding resolution could be passed. It's back to school today in DeSoto Parish. Buses are rolling. Deputies will be keeping a close eye on the school zones. Back to school for Caddo not until August 14th. Now, we have 250 new teachers in Caddo Parish for the school year. The new hires are attending a 5-day orientation, giving them a full overview of the curriculum. They'll also learn how to integrate technology into the classroom and be assigned a coach that will mentor them through their first year. The Caddo coroner has confirmed that a body found in Brushy Bayou is that of missing 7-year-old Deshaun Combest. The little boy's mom, Mary Edmond, has a message for our community.
I just want to, like I said, thank everybody that's been out here helping, searching for my son. And I just want to thank everybody. And thank everybody for praying for me, because I am really tore up right now.
If you'd like to help the family during their time of need, you can make a donation on GoFundMe or at the Professional Firefighters Credit Union on Healthplex Drive. A homeless couple locked up after their dog bit a Shreveport police officer during a traffic stop. The officer stopped a vehicle on the Clyde Fant Parkway near Lake Street. When he was conducting that stop, the homeless couple began interfering, and their dog bit the officer on the leg. Ilio Motors running into more delays. Matt Parker has an update.
Elia Motors says there will be more delays before they can start producing and delivering cars to customers. In the latest filing with the SEC, the startup car company says that it will be 2019 before they can deliver cars to customers, and that there may be a design flaw that will have to be repaired after delivery of the vehicle. The company also states that they plan to go public and list its share on the stock market in an attempt to raise over $100 million for production. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Congress heading out for its summer recess, leaving much undone, a slim record of accomplishments and tensions between the president and congressional Republicans. Now, Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina says those who are leaking information from the White House should be disciplined.
You just can't have people in the government working for the president picking and choosing what to leak. That's just wrong, and I hope we find out who the person is and they get punished.
The Washington Post printed 2 leaked transcripts from President Trump's first week in office, calls to Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull and Mexican President Enrique Nieto. Partly cloudy today. We could have a little sunshine too, with a high temp near 93 degrees. Right now, 77. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
It is 8:35. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 1017 FM 710 Keel. I would guess the term cause celebre applies to Colin Kaepernick probably more than any athlete right now, because in the eyes of the left-leaning media, ESPN, the networks, etc., he is being persecuted for taking a political stance by kneeling last season for the national anthem.
Yes.
And so they just can't understand what their position is, that the reason he hasn't been signed to a contract by another team is because he's just on the outs because of his support of Black Lives Matter, etc. And that he's scaring a lot of NFL owners who are just a bunch of hillbilly redneck Jed Clampett types, and they just don't want him around.
Right.
So in the midst of all this, Kaepernick, who has actually attempted, it seems to me, to be on a little bit, I'm not going to say better behavior, because you believe what you believe.
Yeah.
But at least he's tried to keep a lot of his more controversial thoughts and ideas and theories to himself. Earlier this week, he had a workout with the Baltimore Ravens, who are in dire need of a good backup.
Right.
And in fact, the speculation was, you would see on all the sports websites, Kaepernick will probably be, his signing with the Ravens is just hours away. It looks like this is a done deal, a good fit for both teams, etc. Because the Ravens, coached by John Harbaugh, his ex-coach Jim Harbaugh's older brother, etc., etc. And then his girlfriend gets involved.
And boy, did she.
And boy, if you're gonna say controversial, I was gonna say if you're gonna run your mouth, but if you're gonna say controversial things, at least shoot off your own toes.
Yeah.
Because what she's done is pretty much blast off Cap's entire left foot.
Right.
I say left because of his political leanings. Tell everybody what she said, what she did, and what are the results.
Okay, so Kaepernick, like you said, is negotiating. He's getting ready to get signed. He's finally back in the good graces of the NFL. Everything's great. And then his girlfriend basically says that, Steve Bisciotti, the owner of the Baltimore Ravens, is nothing but a slave owner, and that, Ray Lewis is just a house Negro. Her words, not mine.
Wow.
She said the NFL had a plantation mentality.
Oh, my
that
God.
Steve Bisciotti, is that how you say it? The owner of the Ravens is like a plantation owner. And Ray Lewis, Hall of Fame linebacker, who would hardly be described as anyone's doormat ever, she described him as the Ravens house Negro.
Golly. Oh.
He basically had the job in the bag until she started flapping her gums, and now it's like, we'd rather deal with Ryan Mallett, who's having a meltdown every day in practice.
Thanks, babe. Let's go to dinner.
Oh, my gosh.
8:38. It's 1017 FM and 710 Keel. What you want to do, Parker? You want to go to traffic early? Let's go to traffic right now. Ruben looks ready on Keel.
Just received reports of a semi-truck in a ditch on I-20 eastbound just outside of Houghton. And we have some traffic delays on Shed Road between Airline Drive and Benton Road in Bossier City due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. Tomorrow, a shower or thunderstorm around, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
You got to turn that thing on.
841. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 1017 FM and 710 Keel. I think we have one Stephen Jackson cut from the interview early in the 7 o'clock hour, right?
That we do.
Okay, we'll get to that in just a couple of seconds. Confederate monument refuses, no pun intended, refuses to go away. Update everybody on the Cattle Commission vote last evening regarding the Citizens Committee, and they're coming back to the commission with an opinion on what should be done with the monument.
Right.
And then the latest information on what the commission is going to do pertinent to their vote, waiting for the result. God, this is so confusing. Explain to everybody what I'm talking about.
This is the Citizens Advisory Committee has been working on putting forth a recommendation about what to do with the Confederate monument. They've been working about 9 months. The last couple of weeks, they have postponed a vote, and that's got some commissioners frustrated. Commissioner Lyndon Johnson wanted to disband that committee.
Is there a reason that a committee that was appointed 9 months ago, I mean, were they doing hearings? What about it took 7.5 or 8 months to have a meeting to discuss your findings? I assume they were gathering information from Caddo citizens. Fair enough?
They were going around the neighborhoods, the different neighborhoods, and holding public hearings and gathering up all the information, all the opinions, putting it all into a big, I'm sure, Excel spreadsheet or something. And they were gathering opinions and videos and comments and emails from folks.
But a lot of members of the Cattle Commission, Lyndon Johnson among them, are growing more than impatient with the committee's lack of action or lack of response.
And let me just say, for the committee's folks, a lot of them spoke at yesterday's Cattle Commission meeting, and one of the things that was made real clear was that the vote to delay, the first delayed vote a couple of weeks ago, was when the secretary of that group could not be at the meeting, or she had to leave early, and they didn't feel like it was right to vote without her present because she was an important member of the panel.
Right.
Then last week, there were 2 members who couldn't attend. They happened to be on the opposite side of the issue of the secretary, and so they didn't feel like it would be fair. You know, we delayed a vote because she was not here, so we cannot go ahead and vote when these 2 folks are not here, so we need to delay it one more time.
So the commission voted last night on whether or not to disband, to do away with like 9 months of research and work by this committee, this Citizens Advisory Panel, and they decided to
not to disband the advisory committee.
By
let
a vote
them continue.
In other words, they had to have a 2/3 vote.
Right, and it was a 6-6 vote
Gotcha.
on that amendment.
So
it failed.
earlier this morning, we had Commission President Stephen Jackson, and were you surprised? You know what? Let's play one of the bites from your earlier newscast, and we can get into Mr. Jackson's comments, because I do have a number of questions regarding our interview for you and what he had to say.
This is not the highest priority on my radar. Folks are being shot. Folks are being afraid in their home. Folks are looking for jobs out here. We need industry and economic development to locate here. That's where I'm at.
Were you surprised by his telling you that, as far as I'm concerned, it's not that big a deal? Is that what he said? Is that what it seemed to say to you, that yeah, it's kind of important, but I got to tell you, in my mind, what Stephen Jackson said was, this is not the biggest problem we've got.
We've got other fish to fry.
And if I've got an 8, a 10, or a 12-hour day to serve the citizens of Caddo Parish, I'm not going to spend 6 or 8 or 10 hours on this monument thing.
My phone is not ringing off the hook about this. My phone's ringing about crime.
Explain to folks what he said about that, because that was because the people who want that monument gone,
right,
who want to get rid of it, would have you believe that the greatest threat facing the black community today, just like in New Orleans, just like Mayor Mitch Landrieu, the greatest threat facing the black community today is that Robert E. Lee statue.
Nope. He said, my phone is ringing about jobs, about crime, about streets, about many other things than the Confederate monument. So I don't want to spend an inordinate amount of time on this issue. And, and he voted he voted to disband the advisory committee.
Right.
Because he did that because his colleague Lyndon Johnson asked him to.
He said it was out of courtesy to a colleague.
Right, exactly. And that's why he did that. And it was a 6-6 vote. It was a tie, so it failed. So now the commission, the advisory panel will meet again next week. I believe the 10th is the date. When I anticipate they will make a recommendation at that point, take a vote, make a recommendation to the Caddo Commission.
If Stephen,
not binding, obviously.
If Stephen Jackson's opinion of this Confederate monument controversy is what it is, I can only assume that in the eyes of other black councilmen or black commissioners in this case, they may feel the same way, that this is just much ado about nothing, or at least not something we ought to be spending a lot of time on. Did you get that sense also?
Yes, absolutely. And there's going to be a lot of commissioners who are going to feel that way, that, we need to move on. We have a lot of other things to do.
So, what's the plan? How far down the line is there going to be a vote? Because, and I asked Mr. Stephen this very same question, the same one we asked Lyndon Johnson earlier this week. You guys seem to be of a mind that you own that property, that that's your land, that Caddo, that the Confederate monument is on Caddo Parish land. What did he have to say about that? And what did he say as far as a potential time frame for this thing ending up in court? Because that's where it's going to go.
Yeah, and, he said there are lots of schools of thought about who owns the land. And, who really knows? I do want to say that Commissioner Lyndon Johnson was pretty adamant, saying that he has, the attorney has given them documents saying that Caddo Parish owns the land. Lots of people dispute that.
And Jackson said he really, really, really hoped, as he said, calmer heads prevail and that we can sit down and reach a compromise. Mm-hmm. But when you're looking at two sides of that issue that seem to be at opposite ends of that political spectrum, you got to ask yourself, is that really a possibility?
Yeah.
Because it's going to end up in court eventually if they don't come up with a decision that makes, I'm not going to say makes everybody happy, but that at least pleases the majority of folks.
You bet.
848, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL, traffic and weather up next.
Keeping an eye on some slow-moving traffic on Highland Avenue and Olive Street, and we're dealing with some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard near Benton Road in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 73. Tomorrow, a shower or thunderstorm around, high 89. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
Right now, 78 degrees, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL, 850. Here's your money now. Here's your money now.
I'm Rasa Kay with Your Money Now.
It is 8 away from 9 o'clock, 101.7 FM 710 Keel. Here's sports.
With no stars and few starters on the field Thursday night, the Cowboys were able to beat the Arizona Cardinals 20-18. Cowboys coach Jason Garrett said the main goal was to get their young players a lot of action. With the win in the bag, the Cowboys now head to Cleveland for owner Jerry Jones's induction into the Football Hall of Fame. One of track and field's greatest sprinters is expected to run his last individual race Saturday in London. Jamaican Usain Bolt says he will retire after dominating his sport for a decade. Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth shot 3 under 67s that leave them 2 shots behind leader Thomas Pieters through one round of the PGA's Bridgestone Invitational at Akron, Ohio. McIlroy is playing for the first time since parting ways with caddy J.P. Fitzgerald and replacing him with Harry Diamond, his best friend. Pieters birdied his final hole for a 65 and a one-shot lead over Russell Knox. The Texas Rangers are starting to turn things around and win again. Last night, behind the power of Joey Gallo's bat, they were able to push past the Twins 4-1. The Houston Astros, on the other hand, haven't been very successful lately. Last night, the Rays completed a clean sweep of the Stros with a 5-3 win. From the Keel Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
It is 8:55, 101.7 FM 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. I guess tomorrow is, it was 2 years ago tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I hate to say anniversary because
no, that's an ill-chosen word.
Yeah,
the death of Shreveport police officer Thomas LaValle.
And still a hero to so many, and too young. He was 29. He was gunned down while responding to a domestic call in the Queensboro neighborhood. The suspect, Grover Cannon, I believe, still awaiting trial. Just August 5th is a tough day for our city. That's a tough day. LaValle was, going into the home on Del Rio when Cannon apparently gunned him down. Then there was a manhunt for the suspect, and our city came together. But it's just tough to lose a police officer.
There is not a time, because I go to Betty, Virginia Park to run a lot. And there is not a time that I do not walk past the Thomas LaValle Memorial, the bench, etc. there. That, especially because so many people, and I had no idea, because I did not know Thomas, but I didn't realize also that I know so many people who were very close to him. And how his death affected so many people that I know, most specifically Tim Fletcher.
Yeah.
They were very close friends.
Yeah. And I just, I know you say this a lot, and I have to repeat it. I don't wake up in the morning saying, I'm going to go to my job today, and I might not come home to see my loved ones. These men and women every day get up and go to their jobs and may not be home that night to see their loved ones. Heartfelt thanks to everybody that does that, because God, I can't even imagine living that life.
Back Monday morning, 6 till 9. It's 8:56. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM 710 Keel. Kim Commando.
If you've considered installing smart home technology in your home, listen up for the next 60 seconds before you do. Kim Commander with your Friday Digital Consumer Tech Update. I'll say right up front that I'm a fan of the idea of a smart home. I say idea because smart home devices are still not ready for prime time. Start with the Nest Home Thermostat. Have them, love them. Then there's my internet-controlled Pentair remote for the pool and Lutron to control all the lights. And finally, Crestron's home automation is supposed to tie it all together. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. Not one of these systems reliably communicates with the other. The smart home industry, after 43 long years, has still not come up with a common language, a standard, so all the competing brands can communicate. So my smart home is not so